In this video, you will learn about the Forcats package, which contains functions that enable you to handle factors. Forcats has the distinction of having arguably the most adorable hex image, a cardboard box with 4 cats. In addition to being a pun, Forcats is also an anagram of the variable type it was designed to handle, factors. However, note that the functions we will discuss in this video can also be applied to character variables. We will be using the happy full data frame in this video, and as a reminder, this is what this data frame looks like. The first function we will take a look at is called FCT reorder. Rather than go through the function's slightly technical description, let's take a look at an example to understand how it works. Let's begin by making box plots to visualize the distribution of ladder scores across the various regions. We see the simple ggplot code for making this plot. Note that we are using coord flip to switch the x and y axes. We're doing this just to make the axis text more legible. And we produce the desired plot. Notice that the regions are in alphabetical order, with the Commonwealth of Independent States at the bottom and Western Europe at the top. This makes it somewhat difficult to compare the regions, and it isn't immediately obvious which regions have the highest or lowest median ladder scores, for example. It would therefore make more sense to reorder the box plots in ascending or descending order of median value. We can easily do this by using FCT reorder. We directly apply it to the region variable within our ggplot code. The second argument of FCT reorder is ladder score. And this means that we are telling R to reorder the region variable in ascending order of the median ladder scores for each region. Looking at the output, we now see that the box plots are arranged in a manner that makes it immediately clear which regions have the highest and lowest median ladder scores. And it's also now a little easier to compare the ladder score distributions between regions. If you want to go in the other direction, meaning in descending order, then all you have to do is place a minus sign before the second variable within FCT reorder, which is ladder score in our example. And we now have the box plots arranged in descending order of median ladder score as we move up the plot. Another way to achieve the same outcome is to set the .desc parameter of FCT reorder to equal true. And we confirm that we get the same plot as before. While the default option for FCT reorder is to reorder by median value, we can easily change this to, for example, mean value by setting the .fun parameter to equal mean. And now we see that the box plots are arranged in ascending order of mean ladder score instead of median. The Forcats functions work just as well with dplyr functions as they do with ggplot. Instead of placing FCT reorder within the ggplot function, you can move it up a level and place it within a mutate function, thereby rearranging the order of levels for the region variable before you pipe it into the ggplot function. One benefit of this approach is that the region axis label is now cleaner. It now simply says region instead of FCT reorder region ladder score, as it did before. The next Forcats function we will discuss is FCT infreq. This function is also used to change the order of levels, but this time to go from the most frequently occurring entry to the least. Here we have the code for making a bar graph. By applying FCT infreq to the region variable as shown here, we see that we get a bar graph with regions arranged in descending order of the number of countries they contain as you move up the plot. If you would like to reverse that order, you can use another Forcats function called FCT_rev, like this. Here, we see that we've again moved our Forcats function up a level to be inside a mutate function. Also notice how we can also chain functions within another function. This simply means that we first apply FCT infreq to the region variable and then apply FCT_rev. And this has the effect of reversing the order of our bar graph. The final Forcats function we will be taking a look at in this video is called FCT_lump_n. Once again, let's use a simple example to understand how this function works. Let's make a bar graph for the region variable but this time only plot the region with the most number of countries and collapse all the other countries into a group called Other. Again, we see code for making a bar graph. In the second line, we see fct lump n applied to the region variable within the mutate function. We also see that it has a second parameter called n that has been set to 1. What this is telling R to do is to plot the region with the most number of countries and collapse all the other regions into one group called Other. And so we see that we have just two bars, one corresponding to the region with the most number of countries, which is Sub-Saharan Africa in our case, and another bar corresponding to Other. This represents countries from all the other regions. FCT lump n is therefore especially useful when you have a factor with many levels and you're only interested in plotting the top n most frequently occurring levels. And so if instead you want to plot the top 2 regions with the most number of countries and collapse everything else into one group, you simply set n equal to 2 as shown here. And now we see 3 bars. There you go. You now know how to use a few very useful functions from the Forcats package. This is a large package with many more functions, but hopefully you now have a better sense of how this package can be of use to you.